if we don't correct that imbalance, one of the next side effects is seizures. If your dog has had vaccines in their life, has had any chemicals, antibiotics, flea and tick meds, steroids, anything like that, they really need acupuncture. So, we're still talking about the liver and the gallbladder element, which is considered the wood element. We are in the springtime. This is the time when we want to get on top of this element. Is my favorite time of year. My favorite time of year to cleanse, to detox. Simple thing you can do is add liquid chlorophyll to your pet's water as long as they don't mind the taste. Most chlorophyll contains mint, but you can see if they would be okay drinking that in their water. Make sure it doesn't contain xylitol, or the new word is birch sugar. Most chlorophylls do not, but I always like to just make sure people know to do that. But as we talk about that liver and gallbladder element, I have an interesting story, and it is a dog that started seeing us, and we were just treating this dog for some musculoskeletal issues. But I did note that it had some gallbladder stagnation as well as liver qi stagnation, but we had not gone there yet. And sometimes when there is a full moon, and or when the weather changes drastically, either between hot and cold or between dry and damp, like barometric pressure. When those things happen, if we have either liver stagnation or some damp heat in that gallbladder channel, we can actually experience seizures. We and or our pets, right? But we're talking about our pets here. This pet actually, it was a rainy night. The pet actually vomited bile and then had a seizure for the first time ever. We immediately addressed the gallbladder because I've seen that so many times over these years. Again, usually from the oral flea and tick meds, right? We started treating this dog's gallbladder, and it was about a week or two later, he had another seizure related to the sudden temperature change. I like to describe it as when you see your door, when it's cold, it contracts, or when it's hot, it swells up, and you may have a door that's stuck or gets sticky. I like to think of like the meninges that actually line the brain. Those can actually contract and expand as well. And so that will change with the barometric pressure outside, and that can trigger migraines in people, headaches in people or dogs, and also seizures. But after we started really addressing this gallbladder, we had a really drastic change in temperature with no problems whatsoever. And so far, this dog has had no more seizures. But again, I wanted to reiterate that this is an important time of year for us to pay attention to these small symptoms that the pets may give us before they become something big like a seizure. Because in Chinese medicine, liver qi stagnation can actually affect the stomach. And so when the stomach is affected, we'll get maybe some belching, or maybe you might hear gurgling in your dog's stomach, or that bilious vomiting. We actually call it bilious vomiting syndrome, like where your dog vomits up bile. Sometimes that bile, they'll vomit that up in the morning to let us know, hey, we've got a gallbladder, liver, stomach imbalance here. And if we don't correct that imbalance, one of the next side effects is seizures. I can't tell you how many seizure dogs I've treated that started with bilious vomiting. And that again is why I really, really started tracking the oral flea and tick meds, because we didn't see that before we had those, because the flea and tick meds were applied externally and they would absorb through the capillaries, but they were not going directly in and being bound within that liver and the gallbladder hepatobiliary circulation. So this is why things have changed with these oral flea and tick meds. But pay close attention to these symptoms that you may not think are very big, such as vomiting bile in the morning, burping more than usual, being tender when you pick your pet up. Like if they yelp when you pick them up around this rib cage, we call that the hypochondriac region, and that can indicate that they have liver stagnation. If your dog has had vaccines in their life, has had any chemicals, antibiotics, flea and tick meds, steroids, anything like that, they really need acupuncture in the beginning of the spring. I'm just fanatical about it. I actually go and get acupuncture myself around this time of year. I recently posted a video of myself getting acupuncture, but it's a really important time for us to open up those channels and get ready for the new year. I can't say it enough. It's proactive medicine. If you want a healthy pet, this is how we do it.